saying what's next.
Yeah.
We are here until we end this menagerie of mandates and not laws. We are a country of, please let me finish. You spoke, I'm speaking. Thank you, Senators, for hearing us today. My name is Ron Coleman. I'm from Reno, Nevada. My daughter said to me before I left, Dad, you can't afford to do this with everything that's come over the last 2 years. And I looked at her and I said, I can't afford not to do this. This is a movement that the people have brought forth to say that God-given rights have been trampled on from our Constitution. Let Nancy Pelosi know that the power is in the people and we are coming.
And good evening. Welcome to December 30th, 2024. And today's stream, another short one, as I'm setting up to do a 2024 in review type of one for tomorrow. I figured I'll make this kind of the topic of the day at the same time as I'll just do a short stream here. And the topic of the day that I've chosen here, thanks to input from some friends, I'll get that tongue unwound, is President-elect Trump's endorsement of Mike Johnson. Now, why is that a topic of the day, and why should we be concerned about that? Well, a lot of individuals in the Make America Great front are extremely upset at Mike Johnson's performance over the last year, especially when it comes to grandiose spending of tax dollars. So, and just a week or so ago, he was involved in negotiations of a 1,547-page bill that was being slammed without even 48 hours to be able to read that by members of Congress. And instead of stopping it before, making it an absolute no-go, there's just no way that we should be continuing our Congress in these omnibus type bills rather than single subject bills. And even though the day after that was killed and 118 page or so bill came in its place, and that failed, and then the third one, I think it was like 114 pages, passed with 100% of the Democrats voting for it. Now, that was kind of the coup de grace for a lot of the support in the country on giving Mike Johnson the speakership going forward in the 119th Congress. So Trump says he's endorsing Mike Johnson 100%. And this is in the truth that he put out this morning, where he signifies towards the end there that he gives his total endorsement, and then ends the statement in MAGA. Now, he puts in a few other things through the comments here, that he's talking about the election, taking the election in an electoral landslide, taking it by the popular vote, taking the bellwethers, taking all seven of the swing states, money spent, and everything else in this truth from this morning. But he's backing Mike Johnson. So why? There's the big question, right? So I would say it comes down to basically one thing. This coming January 6th. So Congress, the 119th Congress, needs to be sworn in on the 3rd of January. But before any member can be placed, they need a speaker to be elected. That's the very first thing that has to occur in the House. So that happens on January 3rd. If we go through like we did in 2023, when we had 6 days without a speaker, there was no congressional oversight for that 6 days whatsoever. I know there's a lot of you out there saying, what oversight do they really have anyway? Seems to be like a puff of smoke. Here in 1 minute, gone the next. So where this should wake us up this year, we're sitting here on the 30th of December, and we have got less than a week, and we have to place a speaker. Now, why is this year more important than it was in the midterm? Well, this year we have to certify a presidential election. That certification is on the 6th of January, just 3 days after the 119th Congress comes into office and gets sworn in. So Trump's a pretty savvy chess player. And I believe that he knows that if he were to give another individual the endorsement, even though at this point I don't know who that would be, if that would be a Byron Donalds or someone like that, or someone outside of Congress, because, that the Speaker of the House does not need to be a member of the House. So a lot of people don't know that. So going forward, he's thinking there's just too many little gotchas going on right now, too many landmines that are being laid in the path of January 20th for any hiccups to occur in the House right now. So I think he's playing chess. I think he's saying, go ahead, give him the speakership January 3rd, get the committees placed, get the members all operating, start the 119th Congress, and prepare for 3 days down the road for a certification of the 2024 election. I think there'll be some pushback that is unforeseen at the moment, but I do believe that is the intent, and that going forward there may be an upcoming after that's all done, after January 20th, after everything is pretty much out, done in January, that somebody puts a motion to vacate on the floor. That would make more sense, because the motion to vacate, now he would have to have 218 to stay. 218. Now, that'd be easy if the Democrats all say, hey, we're just going to go ahead and vote for Mike Johnson. I find it hard to see that occurring, given that, they want their guy, Hakeem Jeffries. But, and typically the Democrats all stay together in a group and say, let's toe the line. Everybody, come one, come all. But if they do have an agenda, and if Mike Johnson is indeed bought or compromised, as some would say, they may throw a couple of extra votes towards him just to save him for the amount of votes. Right now, I think that the vote would be short about 8 Republicans, to be honest with you, if it were taken on the 3rd. and those group of 8, I'm going to say 8 to 10. All right, so you carve 8 to 10 Democrats out, boom, you win. So I don't think they want to chance losing Mike Johnson right now. We don't trust him. He has said he would do things, and he did not do things. So we need to go forward ensuring that we have got the proper protocols in place to place our new president January 20th and hit the ground running. So I have a feeling that things are going to get spicy. Pretty spicy. We already know that there are landmines being laid. We know that they're basically an outright going into the DOD, going into the DOJ, and telling everybody to just resist. Any orders, resist. I won't say right now what that would cause, but I see a lot of things coming. Day one on January 20, you've got Tom Homan is going to go in and is going to ignite the removal of illegal aliens. Now, a lot of people know me. I don't call them migrants. I don't call them immigrants. I call them aliens. Why do I call them aliens? Because the United States law calls them aliens. If you were to look up Title 8, Section 1325, you will see that it is illegal, it is a crime for an alien in that word, in that description, to come across and into the United States. Well, by definition, if that's a crime, then that makes them a criminal. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not against immigration, not in the slightest. I just believe that come in the right way. Last night, I spoke about H-1B visas. I speak about the workers that are working in the at the farms and in the fields that are here under work visas. I am surrounded in my neighborhood by Hispanics, and they're all great people. Love them. But we have a problem when you're looking at millions in the last 4 years that are just coming here to collect welfare from our government and to increase pretty much a replacement population. So the mass deportation process that is going to occur on January 20th is going to be utilizing the alien component. Now, you have mayors and governors and sheriffs all saying they're not going to participate because they are a sanctuary city or a sanctuary county or whatever that case might be. Well, guess what? There's Title 8, 1324, Section 3. If you harbor an illegal alien who came here criminally in Title 8, 1325, then you can be arrested for a crime. And guess what? That's a federal title. Federal trumps all state constitutions. So for those mayors and those governors and those sheriffs who think that they're going to turn around and say, no, we're just going to give them sanctuary, you got another thing coming, because this man's not going to be playing. This man's going to come in and say, guess what we're going to do? We're either going to bring our ICE agents in and take your criminals that you've got jailed out and deport them, the ones who have committed heinous crimes, for instance, or we're going to put you in cuffs and we are going to charge you a felony for harboring a criminal alien. So with all that plan, Trump does not want any slowdowns whatsoever. So that's what my take on that is. I want to go to the stream for just a minute and see if I see any comments or questions here. Okay. We'll see here. Hey, Wayne, how you doing? We have got some, I'm currently on X. I'm streaming live on X, on TikTok, and on YouTube. So there's a little bit of a gap, but like I said, this will be a short one. And then tomorrow I want to put together the 2024 in review, if you will, and just kind of go through everything. Again, watching what I say, which may be difficult for some. Don't want to trigger anybody. I mean, we just want people to understand I'm a constitutionalist. And when it comes to the Constitution, this is, to me, the Bible. And there's two terms that kind of associate with that. There's the textualism and the originalism. And on what the founding fathers agreed, that the law of the land from our from when the ratification occurred after we had come out of Articles of Confederation were to be, and that is our basic structure, and that trumps any state constitution. So this is the number one book, and we have gone through 4 years, actually a little over 4 years, of trampling on constitutions, on our Constitution. For example, no, I'm going to hold off until tomorrow on that one, on that thought. So, because that'll get me going into a deep hole. So I'm going to wait on that. So the looking and seeing if anybody. Yes, Mama Wolf, that's correct. They used the Judeo-Christianity to, they based a lot of our Constitution on Judeo-Christianity. And what else do we have here? Let's see. GGAB 1963, that is correct. And that is a debate that they seem to say humanitarian efforts supersede law. And Article 4, Section 4 of the Constitution puts the safety of the country and our borders in the presidential hands. Okay. So it's the president's administration, which includes where Tom Homan is at, and into ensuring the safety of America and Americans. So although the Constitution does, it just doesn't say directly that immigrants are illegal if they don't go through the process. It kind of alludes to the process, okay? Alludes to the fact that it says citizens in several components. If you look at Article 2, Section 1, Clause 3, for instance, which has now been superseded by, it was superseded a while ago by the 12th Amendment. And the 12th Amendment builds out the Electoral College, and it does speak to citizens. And of course, then you have Article 1, Section 4, that now brings in the Congressional and the Senate side of the voting procedure, which is pretty much, when you look at it, all your federal elections are either going to be a congressman, Senate, and a president. It's the three branches, or two branches, really. The third branch, of course, now comes from from the judicial branch, which is Article 3 of the Constitution. So Article 1 being legislative, Article 2 being the executive branch. So they came up with some laws, Title 8, 1325, 1324, and also under Title 18, 611, where they're trying to make differences. All the words in the law say alien. This is why they're trying to get you to say newcomer, or this is why they're trying to say undocumented immigrant. They're trying to change the definition to what it says in the law. And by changing that, they hope to be able to skirt and say, no, we already changed the definition. That's no longer a definition. They're no longer an alien. That is where they're breaking away from constitutional law. And so they need to understand, we're not going to go for that anymore. We're not going to go for that anymore. You come here legally. I have a restaurant that I like to go to that's on the corner up here. And there's a lady there that's been there. I've known her for 15 years, who came in from Mexico. And her and I had a conversation about 10 years ago where I had asked, how long did it take you to come in to become a citizen? She said it took her almost 10 years and $7,000. And she was extremely upset at her relatives who had come over and that were currently at that time, 10 years ago, in California, getting driver's license, coming in illegally, and getting cell phones handed to them back then. We're talking 10 years ago, in the Obama era. 10 plus years ago, actually. It's more like closer to 13 years ago. And that angered her. And she was visibly upset about the fact that she had paid so much and give so much in time to become a citizen, and other people were jumping in front of her. So we're not supposed to just give out handouts. We're supposed to have a merit-based system, and merits include going through the process, doing it the correct way. And that's what we want. So when it comes to immigration, absolutely, come on, come all, but come right. So what else we got? That is always what they try to do, Wayne. Ever since Mockingbird started in the late 50s, where the triple digit or alphabet soup. Got a frog. Sorry. So in the 1950s, where the Mockingbird process began, where the alphabet soup started implanting journalists and anchors in news agencies. And that was all to build a massive psyop, because they wanted things to go their way. They want this new world order, as it was said, as even Kennedy said, and those before him, the military-industrial complex. And they've been doing it since, through the media. And so that's why I don't watch those media channels. I mean, even the big Fox News that everybody tries to go to has got its issues. You have to do your due diligence. You have to vet what it is that you're looking at. And the fact of the matter is, as I just explained with Title 8, in 1325 and 1324, they speak to alien. It's it's the only definition given to an individual who comes across our borders without being invited or proper paperwork, is an alien and is here illegally. Therefore, they are an illegal alien. And so you'll get individuals will hop up and down and say, that's not true. You've got to have a humanity. You got to have a heart, man. These people, they need our help. Well, they're not helping us. If they are truly looking for a better country, why don't they make their own country better? If you've got 20 million, which is what it's projected in the last 4 years, and they're all here for asylum, they're seeking asylum from what? They all say the same thing. They're coached by the organizations, that the NGOs and such, that are, and even the UN, actually, and we've got documentation that shows that the UN is part of this process, to say very specific keywords and to go that way. Then you get the Democrats they all scream about well, we've got a border bill, but the Republicans won't pass this bill. Those bills and that money, besides having money to go out to the Ukraine, that was knocked down, was to put more processors at the borders, not enforcement. But they don't tell you that. So if you look and see, well, what's the money being spent for? Well, we're going to bring on more agents. We didn't have more agents 4 years ago, and we were doing it. So these are the things that you get the arguments and say, well, we could have closed this down. Or you get the famous one, well, we don't need to have all the we can just put up drones. Drones aren't going to stop anyone. Oh, we're going to watch them on camera come across. We don't need the border wall. Just use drone. We don't have to spend that money. Okay. We had a $16 billion request, I believe it was, in 2017. How much have we sent overseas? I think it's a little bit more than that. How much have we spent giving free room and board, $3,000+ Visa cards, and so on and so forth per month to all these illegals? What is it, $150 billion a year? And now they're coming out and saying, well, you know how much it's going to cost to do mass deportations? What, 80 billion? Well, let me see. If it's going to cost 80 billion a year, that's going to decline. It'll be a declination instead of an inclination, with it going up, supporting them, turning over 5-star hotels to being migrant centers, as they call them, illegal alien centers. Oh, what are you going to do with the families? Well, keep them together. They came across together. Send them back together. Anyway, that's my high horse. Looking through the comments here, see. Yeah, I really got to get back into my book. I'm done with 2 chapters of it. And 2024 has been a really exhausting year, mentally and physically. All right, folks. So it's been about a half an hour. So I just wanted to touch base. I'll try to touch base a lot more often, probably at least for the next 2 weeks. I need to do some algorithm programming, if you will. There you go, Lou. Okay. Oh, Lou says, and this is for the individuals that can't see the streams. Lou on YouTube says, recap number 1, deport number 2, refer to number 1. So, okay. Yeah, 15 years and $15,000. So, see, there's no rhyme or reason to that, and to me that's what's broken. If you're paying, you've got somebody that's going 15 years and paying 15 grand to become a citizen, that is absurd. And that's where reform needs to come in. And, it doesn't take that long, but there's individuals like Riley Gaines, for instance. Her husband is from England and he's trying to get his citizenship. Well, he's been fighting and paying for lawyers and everything else to get his citizenship. And they're bogging him down saying, well, he can't process further into the system because he has no record for the juice. What does that have to do with anything? So now that this is what we are up against. So that's where we need to keep our focus. George Pete, you're welcome. Hey, Fry's in the house. Fry TV, how you doing, buddy? All right, good. Nice seeing everybody. I understand that, I've been off for a long time and all of a sudden, boom, boom, back to back. Well, I'll have some more coming in. And I'm just trying to collect everything in my mind. I really want to come up with a good stream for you tomorrow that'll have kind of a chronological, this is what we had happen in 2024. And then where are we going to go in 2025? As I said in last night's stream, I think it's important to use tomorrow, it's your last day, to go out and get some shopping done. Get your TP, get your oats, okay? Get your dry goods, because it's going to be a bumpy ride. We had everybody, as I said yesterday, we've got everybody is going around in the circles acting like this H5N1 is going to be a thing come the first of the year. And just reading the tarot cards, if you will, I think you need to be ready. They're going to try and do a lockdown. And we cannot comply. Yeah, doing good, Fry. Doing good. Yeah, lawyers do complicate that, Kathy, but when you're arguing and you need mediation, sometimes you have to take it to the lawyers. Well, I've missed you too, Brenda. So good. I know some of you just got on here. I don't see some familiar names that have been waiting for me, but I guess they didn't get the alert. So for those of you who don't know me, I've been pretty vocal about Constitution, and I do a lot of interpretation about the Constitution and the meaning, the textualism, the originalism, and kind of reading into what our founding fathers meant when they wrote something into either an article or into an amendment. And, there's a lot that has to happen. There's a lot that I've been trying to establish with working with COS.com, for instance, which is your convention of states, so that, a lot of individuals always look to Congress. For instance, term limits. We've got 27 amendments going right now. We need a 28th amendment that to the Constitution for term limits for Congress, for the Senate, and for the House. Well, these are individuals that they're not going to vote themselves out. So they're not going to put an amendment through that's going to give them term limits. Not when they're sitting up there for 40, 50 years. That's where you have to go to Article 5 of the Constitution. You have to look at the second component of the paragraph, where it's gives the power to do amendments by the states and not just the Congress. So if you look at Article 5, look it up, look at Article 5. Thank you, Texas. And read that. You'll notice the very first component, it starts off, it tells you, and then there's a or the convention of the several states. And so what that's telling you is that we, the people, with the same majority rules, your 2/3 and your 3/4 rules, can also put forth through our state legislatures the same amendments that Congress can do. So if we can get the states, so we'd have to have 33 states to draw the amendment. We'd have to have 38 states to ratify the amendments. We can actually make amendments to our Constitution using Article 5 of the Constitution. And I've been up on that for years to say that, educate people about Article 5, understand it, go out, sign the petitions over at conventionofstates.com or cos.com. And that's what we need to do. We also need to have an amendment to have a carried federal balanced budget. Okay. Look at Florida. Florida's always balanced. It's in their state constitution. They have to balance their budget. They have to keep it balanced. And it's the same thing. Well, how do you do that? You chop out the lobbyists, you chop out the pork, you make single subject bills, you put our representatives on the floor to do what we sent them there to do, which is to be our voice on any bill that must be voted on. Not this, let's go to work for 6 months out of a year. The rest of the time we're out doing whatever. And we're just going to go in, we're going to vote on, there's 200 bills in this omnibus type of deal. No, you bury stuff, you hide stuff, corruption is in there, the legislation process is hampered. So we need to make sure that we make changes to not just tossing these 1,500 page bills in there and saying, we're going to have $1 trillion in there. No. Put it back to the way it was designed in the beginning. Throw away the rules package. And when you throw away that rules package, every single bill goes up for a vote. Well, that would take forever. Well, do your damn job. You read the bill. Do your constituents want it? And if your constituents want it, vote what your constituents want. Now, the process of how the process of the seat count, 435 seats in the House, will take hold. If you get more constituents of the United States are for a particular bill, then the bill should pass. Doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican. It would be bipartisan all the way if you listened to your constituents and you did single subject bills. This is why there's been such a pushback, because they don't want to do it. It would just take so much time with all the bills. But the bills would reduce because, hey, look, the sunlight is the best antiseptic. Okay? They do not want a lot of these bills in the light of day because they want to hide them because they're either nefarious or they're for something that a sponsor came through and said, we want to do this. And, you'd look good in that new Ferrari if you get my drift. So that's where we need to go with that. All right, folks. I said it would be short. Let me make it short. Let's see here. What was this? Okay. I'll put what my beliefs on Elon are in tomorrow night. You bet, Cheryl. Yes, Wayne, you're right. We need to get rid of the big government. Yeah, my little Frenchy girl has, she's a handful. So, listen, folks, we got it. We got it out tonight. We've got 41 minutes. Actually, that's more than I did last night. So, I just wanted to say what I thought about Trump and Mike Johnson. I think that let's all get behind making him speaker for the 3rd. Let's get the 6th done. Let's get the 20th done. And then if somebody can come forward, they can always do that motion to vacate. We can do a motion to vacate. We just have to have somebody that is going to have a spine, be ready for the big fight, because you've got the Democrat side is in there. There's other factors that are going on that a lot of people don't know about in Congress. That goes on in Congress. Um, won't mention it here right now, but it causes a fear factor for a lot of representatives. And so they wind up doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Listen, God bless all of you. You have a wonderful, blessed day, and keep your head up, keep your head on a swivel. Go out and do your shopping tomorrow, just in case, so that way you're not out there with the nuts. And get ready for a New Year special. Love y'all. Take care.